we live in what is known as a holographic reality. And what I'll do is I will explain it in a way so the normies can understand. Everything that we see in front of us is a frequency, a vibration, waveform information. The basis and the foundation of this reality is waveform information. Let's start with the eyes, okay? Now, we don't see with our eyes, we decode with the eyes. We actually see with the brain. It's a little thing at the back called the visual cortex. The eyes take the waveform information. We receive waveform frequency information through the eyes. The eyes decode the frequency information electrically to the brain. The brain decodes it into 3D to the visual cortex. Now we see the floor, now we see the wall, the windows, the ceilings, the walls, the car, the buildings, the houses, other people. Our bodies are just a holographic waveform information field. Now, another good example to do is the ears. Two people are talking. This person's talking. This person's vocal cords are vibrating. A frequency is coming out. The ears pick up the frequency information. They decode it electrically into the brain. The brain then has compartments which decode the electrical information into words. Everything that we are under the perception of, like for example, everything that we think is solid is not solid. It's not solid. Your body is a waveform information field, and when it's decoded by the eyes, you see your body and your hands and your eyes and your hair. It's waveform frequency information decoded. So is everything around you. Everything around you is waveform information decoded. What is happening is, like the wall, when you touch a wall, it's not solid. The wall is a waveform information field, and your body's a waveform information field. Now, it's two waveform information fields, two electromagnetic fields resisting against each other. That's what's happening. That's why you don't go through the floor, because your body's a waveform information field, and so is everything around you. They're just vibrating at different frequencies. Like the wall is a very, very, very dense vibration. That's why it's hard. The body is a higher frequency. That's why the body is not as hard as what you would say like concrete. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was Project HAARP. Now, I was getting lots of questions about HAARP and people are asking me about it, so I thought I would talk about it because it's really important and I want to help people be healthy. HAARP is a system, you could call it that the government's created because they want to monitor the weather and monitor, changes in the magnetosphere and in the ionosphere, which is the upper atmosphere. What they're really doing, let's just go with what they're really doing. They are generating a frequency, a radio frequency. That's what they're using. They're using radio frequencies. Now they blast a radio beam up to the upper atmosphere, the ionosphere. They blast a radio beam up there and they disturb the ionosphere. They disturb the ionosphere with a synthetic degrading vibration. They disrupt it. That's what they're doing. They disrupt it. Now, the ionosphere is something that protects us against outer radiation, you could say. Outer radiation, and it's like a force field. What they're doing is they're disrupting that. But what happens is, this is really important, the radio beam, when it hits the ionosphere, it's like a ricochet. It comes back down, but when it comes back down, it's thousands of times stronger. So wherever they're aiming HAARP, they will create a huge rift in the vibration on that continental plate, on that geographic zone, that location, if you know what I mean. Earthquake, volcanic eruption, and they've also been able to do they've also been able to do things like mind control. You know, they've been able to do things like that. There was a experiment that they did where a Chinese whistleblower came out, and he was talking about how they are using HAARP, they're using the towers, they're using the radio towers and stuff like that to inject thoughts into the brain, into frequencies and vibrations. Remember, a thought is a frequency, and if they know the frequency that the brain operates on, they can inject thoughts into the mind, you know. And when Morpheus says in the Matrix, you know, do you think that's air that you're breathing right now? Well, I'd say, do you think that they are your thoughts you're thinking now? Because they're not. They're really not. Remember, you tune into thoughts. You don't create thoughts, you tune into thoughts. An infinite amount of thoughts exist. An infinite amount of thoughts exist, and you tune into them. You know, there's no choice. You tune into which one you want to tune into. An infinite amount of thoughts already exist. You just tune in. That's what the brain does. It tunes in. It's a receiver of information. It's not a creator. You know what I mean? And then, like, when you get really, really more into it, another cool thing is that you know, you're not the mind. You know, we're going a bit off topic here, but you're not the mind. The mind is not you. There's something. This is you, and this is the mind. You're the observer of the mind. You're the awareness, the boundless spirit. That's who you are. The stillness and the love and the compassion and the will. That's who you are. The mind is not who you are. You are separate to the mind. Always remember that. I just wanted to talk about that because that's what HAARP's are doing. They've got these radio towers, and a Chinese whistleblower just has recently come out and said that they're using radio but they've been doing it for a very, very long time. They haven't been just using it now. Like, it's only come out in about 2024, 2025 it came out. Like, he came out and said that the radio towers are used to project frequencies into the brain, meaning project false thoughts. That's what HAARP's really for. And I wanted to touch on that because people were asking me what HAARP is for. Now, remember, guys, if you want to do the primal diet and you think it's something for you and you're not really sure where to start, or you're not really sure how to begin, you can book a consultation with me, you know, or you can just check my other videos where I've covered the primal diet and I've talked about how beneficial it is and how important it is, guys, to eat the food that is, you know, containing the most enzymes, containing all that healthy bacteria, all that healthy nutrition and minerals and stuff like that. So if anybody's interested in doing the primal diet, guys, just let us know and send me a message. Thank you.